Here, wrong person. Here we go.
Hello, hello.
You got a flash of our voice behind the scenes.
Behind the curtains.
Behind the curtains. Pay no attention to that person behind the curtains. Well, anyway, that's a great way to start the morning. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Cloud Chats episode 12. Web servers, Docker updates, and GitHub Pages Database on May 6th, 2021. I'm one of your hosts, Mason, and these are my friends, Chris and Matt. So,
Hello, hello.
Hello.
Welcome back, Chris.
Good. You know what? I'm actually happy that this is my first day back and from maybe a week off, and I get to hang out with you all instead of going through my Slack messages. So I am happy about that.
That is a wonderful way to procrastinate. I like that.
It is. It is. It's almost as if we fear inbox zero and that it will take forever.
Do you all believe in inbox zero anymore? I don't know if it's possible.
Yes, I'm always inbox zero. The notification, I don't know why, but notifications on my phone drive me insane. Like I cannot handle them. Like the little icon on the little Apple. I mean, I don't have an Apple phone anymore, but like whenever I used to have an Apple, like the little one next to my mail messages, it hurts my soul.
Yeah.
So
that was their goal.
Yeah, they did a good job. Yeah.
Hey, everybody in chat. Hey, Fred, Civ, Victor from the Philippines, 11 p.m. tuning in. That's awesome.
That's great. Yeah.
That's late in the day. I couldn't do that.
Matt, you're just waking up at 11 p.m.
Yeah, to be honest, my brain's just starting to kick into gear at that point.
Awesome.
The night coding days.
Yeah. Night coding. I don't miss it. I really don't miss it. Like every now and then I think back about how much I enjoyed, university and doing all of that stuff. And then I'm like, I did, and it was fun. But staying up till 2 a.m. in the morning crying over why my C program won't compile is not a day that I want to go back to.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, it's either do it late in the evening or do it early in the morning and then ruin the rest of your day. So
I guess, or you just don't do it at all. Like that was always another option. Like you just don't do it at all. Like who needs homework? Yeah.
Oh dear.
Yay. What do we have for our cold open today? Ooh, this is gonna be a good one for our chat. Are you a desktop or laptop person? And what is your operating system of choice? Are you a Mac OS? Are you Windows? Are you a Linux user? Ooh. So Matt, what are you using?
So this is really interesting because I'm using a Mac OS laptop, but I would say that I'm a desktop person. Still Mac OS, but I would be a desktop person if I could be. And like, I make my laptop as desktop-y as possible. I have an eGPU plugged in with 3 external screens.
Yeah, you have to. I don't know how people can do laptops without external screens. I can't.
Yeah.
What about you, Chris? What you got? I know you got a lot of stuff, so.
Yeah, I've got quite a few things, but I don't know. I've been a laptop person lately, which is interesting, but me personally, I don't get the one screen sort of scenario, right? Like there's just so many times where I'm like looking at Stack Overflow and copying and pasting, and it's like, that's a 2-screen process right there. So if I need to do any sort of heavy lifting, it's always desktop. If I need to live stream or something, always desktop. I feel like every laptop I've ever had has never been able to keep up with my workload. And it's not even that intense of the things I do. But yeah, desktop all day. And I'm on Mac currently. I was on Windows for a very long time. Honestly, you just need Chrome and VS Code and you're good.
Yeah, that is about all you need. I'm definitely also a desktop person. My poor little desktop over here that I built in like 2016, I think it's been giving me some problems lately. I think it might be nearing the end of its life. It's got some old hardware in it. But I love desktops. I do love my laptop though, because I have one of the last 2015 MacBooks Pros that has the good keyboard. My biggest problem with laptops the entire time is not only the screen problem, but bad keyboards. And like when I worked at my last job, I got the touch bar Mac with the keyboard that wasn't a keyboard, and I hated it. I legitimately could not work on it.
They've updated since.
They have.
2019 was the new
Yeah.
one?
I've got 2019. I hate it still.
You still hate it still? Yeah.
I have a 2015 as well that's sitting behind that. And that keyboard's lovely. I just don't use it ever.
That 2015 is gorgeous. It's amazing. It's also starting to show its age. I use Windows on my home PCs. I've never owned a Mac PC because I don't make $6 trillion a year and can't afford one. I would like one. I'll always go and spec one out, and then I'm like, that costs more than my car. No. So
are you specking out the Mac Pro?
Yeah. Well, yeah, who doesn't want a cheese grater?
I mean, I do.
Yeah, right. I use Windows all the time. I do use the WSL though, and I'm going to be doing a tech talk about that in the next month or so. But whenever I started at DigitalOcean, they asked, "Do you want a Mac or a Windows PC?" And I was like, "I'm going to do Windows because I'm going to make myself learn how to use the WSL." And then it's just gotten better and better. Like I the only reason I ever used to even want to use Mac was because I wanted that terminal experience, and now I have it, so I don't need a Mac.
Yeah.
But
just shout outs to chat. What's up, Fred? Windows prefers laptop. Civ. External screen for sure. Wait, few hours a day working on the couch without a screen.
It's nice focus. I can see that. Yeah. The people that have those huge MacBooks that run like 3 applications, like how do you have an application on your screen and it's not full screen? Like,
yes, that's the one reason actually I really like using macOS, right? On Windows, you don't have a concept of like a truly full screen application, right? You just press the big window button in the corner and it kind of fills the screen.
Well, it depends on the app. There are some full screen app, like I can hit F11 in Chrome and it goes full screen.
Okay, whereas in like macOS land, when you do that, it gets its own like virtual desktop, and so I can just switch between everything. I don't know. That's one reason I like macOS.
I did like that. Whenever I used macOS at both of my prior jobs, and you're right, those virtual desktops, especially if like I liked the Magic Mouse. I know some people like the trackpad, but like there's also gestures on the Magic Mouse. Those big desktops were nice, but like I used to see professors that would have like these 27-inch MacBooks or iMacs or whatever they were called, and they had like 3 things, and they're just going, and I'm like, how do you?
Yeah,
that would drive me nuts. Yeah. I could not do that. So.
We got in Facebook land, we have Donald saying desktop with Mac OS, the best choice by far. Dennis, desktop Windows, but wants to move away to a Mac OS laptop. Also very good. Can you tell that I'm a Mac OS fan here?
Donald's got the cheese grater also. I am excited to see what they do with the M chips with the Mac Pro.
Oh yes, the M2's in production now, isn't it?
That's the rumors, or is it?
We're already at M2. We just broke everything with the M1. Now we're going to break it again with the M2.
M1's so good.
Yeah.
I can't believe we're already at the M2.
Well, so so I suppose the rumors are right that M2's in production for the September MacBook launches. And if it's true and we get an M2 MacBook in September, I am ordering one.
Okay, why?
So supposedly we're getting back MagSafe, and we're getting a proper keyboard again, and we're getting a function row again with an actual physical escape key, and it's going to be an M2 processor. So I kind of want one. Okay,
I'll buy it. No, you're right. I vowed a long time ago that I would never get another Mac until they gave me a keyboard again that I liked. And even the new, slightly better one, it is slightly better, but that 2015 keyboard is literally like, outside of mechanical keyboards, that's the pinnacle of laptop keyboards.
Mm-hmm.
So I actually prefer the 2019 to the 2015.
Really? You like the 2019? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Really?
And I come from many years of mechanical keyboards. I think once you use it, like I hated it at first. Hated it. Give it like 3 weeks, 2 weeks, go back to the other one, and the other one's just like shaky. It doesn't feel tight. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
Mason, I'll send you a link afterwards because I have a USB keyboard that feels very like a 2015 MacBook. It's like an old-style Apple keyboard.
I love my DOS keyboard. Like my clicky blues. Like if my neighbors can't hear that I'm typing, am I actually typing?
We're gonna go to the keyboard conversation again.
Yeah, we don't have to. We could, but I don't know if we have the time for that. They just feel better. Like they just feel so much better. What you got, Chris? Those weird. Okay. Do you like it?
It's on a shelf.
I will say, yeah, it's on the shelf behind me.
I guess that, yeah.
I will say, if you're gonna go for a keyboard like the ErgoDox that is so different than what you're used to, don't go blank keycaps. Like the learning curve just skyrockets.
You hit it. Oh my god. Okay, so these are like this DOS keyboard is a blank keycap DOS keyboard. And as we've said before, this is one of the best security mechanisms on a computer ever. No one ever tries to type on my computer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have the same DOS. I think it's the 4. Blank keycaps, easy. ErgoDox blank keycaps, almost impossible.
Oh dear.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Well, that should be another like a cold open, because there's so many mechanicals. I'm waiting on an ultimate hacking keyboard next.
Oh my goodness. I bought this DOS and I've always wanted to try other, but I love it. I bought the exact same model because they came out with a new model that had a scroll wheel and media controls, but the other one works just fine. Like, these keyboards last forever. And this one weighs about 20 pounds. Like, I could use it to fend off a bear if I needed to.
Daniel Zaltzman in the chat. That's a new name, huh?
Oh yeah.
Name, yeah.
Don't know that name.
Nope.
Mechanical keyboard convert. What are you using, Daniel? And then Christopher, I'm interested in. He runs around with a mechanical keyboard everywhere he goes. I'm interested to see what you're using mobile, like the small pokers or Poker 3 or whatever.
Denislav asked a question in terms of the MacBooks. Is it true that the new M1 chips have a better battery life and don't even need ventilation? And then follow up, thoughts on compatibility with different software?
I would say compatibility not an issue anymore. Everybody's pretty much converted over. And resounding, like, not even a doubt in my mind, battery life is a billion times better. And I think I could have gotten away. This is the Mac Pro, MacBook Pro right here, that has the fan. I don't think I've ever heard the fan kick in, so I think I could have gotten away with the MacBook Air.
Also, because the only difference now between the Air and the Pro is like a fan, right?
And the iPad apparently now.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I mean, it's so powerful, stronger than any Intel computer I've ever had. So
interesting. Okay, I'm gonna have to do research because I have no idea. Yeah, well, you have to pay for it too, Matt, because again, like, if I had to spend 3 paychecks on a computer,
they're not bad nowadays. Like,
no, Chris, you've just acclimatized.
If you bought a Windows laptop for your current workload, would it be under 1,000?
Probably. I only need about 16 gigs of RAM and like maybe a 4-core processor. And like, I don't need it. I'm not really needing, I guess, now that we do streaming, having a GPU would be nice.
Yes.
But I probably could. The thing is that there's so many Windows laptops and I'm so picky that the last Windows laptop I owned was an HP Pavilion from 2009 that I won at a competition. I've never actually purchased a Windows laptop. Nope, wrong. I buy Surfaces. I love the Surface tablet. That's a fun one.
Okay, that's another question for another time, but is that a laptop?
Yeah, we're already 15 minutes over in our 5-minute opening section. So when we said we're going to do better on time, obviously we're bold-faced liars. So we're just going to go ahead and just move in and
have this conversation for a whole episode. We'll just make that next episode.
Next episode. Okay. That sound means it's time for the news. Now we move into News Flash, the portion of our show where we talk about the new news things that are newsy. That's a great way to put it, right? And whenever you hear this sound, means we're moving along. So the first one we have is apparently YouTube is now building its own transcoding chips, similar to GPU and TPU cards. There's a new VCU card that they're building that's going to help them basically just transcode video formats, I guess, to get better optimized performance. The thing that I thought about this is I'm surprised they weren't already doing this. This seems like this should have been happening years ago.
Yeah, well, I imagine for a long time they've probably been using presumably huge data centers full of GPUs to do this, because that's the conventional way of doing transcoding. But I wonder if, I don't know GPU architecture well enough, but I'm guessing there's bits for GPU that they don't need.
I wonder what bits those would be. Maybe the fan.
Yeah, I'll say well, presumably no, because you can get water-cooled ones that would work better in a server environment.
Yeah, but I've always heard that like water cooled servers are like so much more expensive that they do tend to not do them. Oop, I
We're
popped my
talking about
microphone.
YouTube here, though, so
True. I don't know.
I
It's
don't know,
interesting.
yeah. But it's
Who
cool.
is it that puts a data center under the ocean?
That was
Is that
Microsoft.
Microsoft? Yeah.
Yes. That was really cool.
That was really cool. We'll have to bring that up. We'll have to talk about that at, next time or something, because that one was cool because they had like less hardware failures, which was interesting.
That's because there's no oxygen and no humans.
Yeah,
We are
humans
the failure
bad.
point.
We are not wrong. This next site is out of what? Apparently, you can host a read-only SQL site statically with a chunked virtual file system on GitHub. So this is the hosting SQLite databases on GitHub Pages. It uses SQLite composed into WASM, wrapped with SQL.js and a virtual file system that allows them to basically use a static site and HTTP requests as a database.
I just felt like a non-techie with all the acronyms that got thrown out there. I like got lost. SQLite, WASM.
Okay,
But
SQLite, database system. WASM, WebAssembly. Runs in the browser.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we're going to go back and you're going to say the whole thing with no acronym.
Fine. We are using SQLite's the name. It's not an acronym. An SQLite database is compiled into WebAssembly wrapped with SQL.js, which would be a JavaScript library, into a virtual file system. And then the file system uses basically HTTP requests to only load the bits of the database needed for the query. And apparently the SQLite database just sees it as a normal file system and uses it. That just seems really... So how do they keep it private? Like, is this just a publicly open database? Like, how do they...
I'll say it's like, essentially, like, I guess the use case here is skipping the need for a read-only API somewhere. Instead of having an API to serve your content, you just read from the database.
Yeah, because I just love submitting SQL queries across the internet.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, I have always been one, right, for really abusing GitHub Pages and seeing what you can do with it. Like, my final year uni project is doing a full URL shortener statically with GitHub Pages and GitHub Actions. So I don't know. This is just really up my street, and I think it's really cool.
Okay. So you're the reason we can't have nice things.
Correct.
So okay, good. I'm making sure that you're the reason we can't have nice things. That is pretty cool, though. I always love seeing these little hacks and seeing what people decide to do with everything. And apparently, we can run a database in a static site, so that's interesting.
Yeah, so I encourage people to go and have a look at this if they're interested in kind of a lot of the virtual file system stuff that can be achieved in JavaScript. It's really interesting, and this just takes it to another level.
Cool. This next story comes out of the land of Docker. So now
you missed a
this
link,
one was
Chris.
fun.
First day back. Hold on.
Yeah, we're fine.
There we go.
Okay. So apparently now ignoring Docker updates is a paid feature. And my computer restarted last night, Matt, and apparently I accidentally updated Docker. So now I do see this.
When you say you accidentally updated, do you mean Docker updated itself with
I don't know. I think I clicked yes because I wasn't in this one yet, but now I definitely see it as okay, now I actually have to pay to be able to ignore Docker updates, which I'm curious how long until they roll this back.
Stop that.
I don't know. Yeah, this seems bad.
I don't know. Like, there's some really interesting replies actually in this Twitter thread. And one that keeps coming up is like, from an InfoSec perspective, this is a really cool feature. Everyone is going to be up to date. There is never going to be a Docker security issue ever again.
Yeah, but it also means that now you are 100% reliant on other people to make sure your code doesn't break. Because Docker has never broken anything in a minor or patch version, Matt. That's never happened.
Never. It's not like we use Docker to have reliable and reproducible setups, and suddenly this is not reproducible if it updates itself.
Exactly. So there's no way this could go wrong.
You know, I don't think they'll roll it back. Right? We've seen that they've been monetizing Docker already, like Docker Hub. had all those limits put in place a while back. I think this is just another step in kind of monetizing Docker so that it's profitable.
I mean, they're just going to push people to another. They're just going to push people to another container thing. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, is this only for Docker desktop or is this for like Docker on servers?
Docker desktop. This is
Okay.
like
I
in
can
theory,
see
you could roll your own Docker in like a virtual system, but I don't know. Do you really want to deal with that?
No, I'm just saying, like if I was running a fleet of 1,000 servers all running Docker and they all decided to update against my will, I'd be unbelievably upset about that. Like,
no, this is just
like ripping Docker out and never using the technology again. Levels of upset. Because yeah, I don't want other people being able to cause outages on my behalf. I'm good enough at messing up my own stuff. I don't need help. Thank you.
Yeah, no, I believe this is just Docker desktop. So, but it's still affecting developers. So,
yeah, that's gonna be fun.
We'll see.
Okay. And our last story today is one out of web browsers, and things are changing, and you can tell how old this technology has to be because if that's not the most 90s looking website I've ever seen in my life.
Favorite website.
Nginx has now taken over Apache as the most popular web server, running 33.8% of the sites, whereas Apache is running 33.7%. So I'm glad that 0.1% is there.
That 0.1% has changed in a day because the notes you've got written down from yesterday say they were both at 33.8%.
Oh wow! Okay, interesting.
It's changing.
And it says Cloudflare's web server sits at a third. I didn't know Cloudflare had a web server. So learning something new every day.
Is the header that gets set on anything that goes through Cloudflare's proxy, I think. So I don't know. It's a really interesting question. Like Nginx and Apache are probably bigger because that 18% is probably a lot of proxied requests to an Nginx server somewhere. I
would imagine. Yeah. I'm curious if Cloudflare rolled their own web server or if they're just,
I would have thought that number, if it was like proxying stuff, I thought it would have been bigger. 18%?
Well, if you go to, on the left-hand side, reverse proxies, Cloudflare is 16% of the internet. Yeah. Yeah, 16% of the internet.
What's the green line?
Relative market share.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. This is W3Text is a really cool site. Poke around at technology usage.
Yeah, you can travel back in time to 1994.
This page pains me every time.
Still got it, jQuery.
Look at Bootstrap all the way up at number 2. They did a great job of marketing that. My first website that I built that wasn't in Dreamweaver was Bootstrap.
Yeah.
So
obviously my favorite tab on the left-hand side is content delivery.
Because
is it management?
Content delivery.
Gotcha. Hey,
we're getting very close to beating Google.
Coming up.
Very exciting.
Donald says, to my surprise, a lot of Shopify runs jQuery. So I guess that would explain. That's a large portion of the internet.
Well, I mean, like generally though, for a long time, jQuery has just been the thing, right? It's only in recent years that people have gone, you don't actually need jQuery anymore.
Yeah, and some people would be like, no, only jQuery. So
yeah,
who needs all these fancy frameworks? Okay, well, now it's time for another game of true or false. So if you want to join us in today, the code is 588-5899. And for those of you that don't know, True or False is a wonderful little game that I play with my co-hosts where I pose to them 10 statements regarding any topic, even remotely associated with tech, and they have to tell me if the statement is true or false. If you go to kahoot.it and input this code 588-5899, you will you'll be able to play with us and maybe see your name on the leaderboard. I have been told by our viewers that if you want to be competitive, the lowest stream latency is YouTube. So if you're watching this on Facebook, You will have a stream latency because points are allocated not only for correct answer, but for speed in which you answer the question. So highly recommend that if you want to be super competitive, that you do it. And Chris, you better jump in quick because we only have 10 spots and they're about to take it from you. There you go.
Why only 10?
Because we don't have we're upping that soon, but that's just like our current limitations with what we have.
Yeah.
So
all right, we'll make our own.
I guess 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And I guess we're done. We're ready. Let's go ahead and start. Chris, Matt, I don't need either sass from either of you this morning.
It's okay.
But either way, welcome back, Chris. We missed you. Okay.
Happy to be here.
And today's episode is a special edition. This version of Kahoot is What Are You Doing, JavaScript? Or the WAT video.
Oh, yeah,
if
you
you've
told me
never
about
seen
this.
it. This is some JavaScript shenanigans, and here we go. With true or false, tell me if these statements, if this JavaScript is what it is.
What I really want to know, Mason, is how much this broke your brain writing this.
It hurt my soul. Array plus array is empty array. Is this true or is this false?
Chris, we need to delay ourselves. Remember that.
Yep.
Not too much though. I mean, I think like a second or two, maybe 3 at the most would be good to do the delay for you. So this is in fact false. Array plus array is empty string.
Go figure.
Coercion.
Here we
go.
Is that coercion. I don't know what any of it.
JavaScript coercion.
So I'm wondering. Also, I want to know if Chris is going to get all these. I'm curious because I imagine that you were going to get a lot of them, and you've probably seen these before. So, array plus object is type error. Is array plus object a type error?
Does JavaScript think to convert the object to a string? Don't know.
Yeah, I think it does.
I'm sorry. Object array. Yeah, this is false.
Object
is object, which I think is just an object, right?
No. Do you get an object back, or do you get the object string?
You get square bracket object uppercase object square bracket.
That's the string representation of an object. Yeah.
Okay, no idea.
So the concatenation operator here is kind of casting everything to a string because it's silly.
Okay, and now let's go ahead to the next one. Oh, where we got? Oh, Chris fell a little bit.
I'm moving slow.
Next one, since addition is commutative, if we just swap those around, it should be this, right? So if we do object plus array, it should just be the same as the previous one, correct? Is this true or is this false?
If you all want to get ahead, open up your terminal in Kahoot.
Yep.
There's a terminal in Kahoot?
Well, as in open up your browser console.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Well, they're doing it on their phone probably, so.
But no cheating. Shouldn't be doing that. Should know these.
Yes, this is false. When you switch it around, the answer becomes 0.
Because obviously, again, that makes loads of sense.
Because it makes loads of sense. This is if you've never seen Gary Bernhardt's WAT video, that's where the first handful of these is coming from, is that WAT video.
Yeah.
So
I mean, this is just JavaScript, and you learn these over time.
Yeah. Object plus object is not a number. Is this true or is this false? Also, by the way, this is vanilla JavaScript, so I don't know if Node makes a difference. This is true.
Node uses V8, which is the same as Chrome. So,
okay. Well, it's Donald says I just tested this and it's true in Node v14. What is? I don't know what any of that means.
I'm not sure which question he's referring to, but
oh yeah, I guess
my brain is sanity checking what you've got here, and they all seem right so far.
Yeah, yeah. So object plus object is in fact not a number. Who knew? I guess that makes sense. Next question.
Don't justify it like that.
Object minus 1 is -1, or is?
Maybe.
I don't know. I opened up a browser console and ran all of these in the console, and they did come out as I was expecting them to. So,
What's up, Brian?
Yeah.
Rob.
So I have no idea why. Cool.
I think it coerces the array into a 0. 0 minus 1, -1.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yes.
I say that makes sense in like the. It doesn't make sense, but
the only reason I'm okay at some of these is because I did a conference talk called JavaScript is Weird and just went through all these. So
yeah.
Good. So you're doing okay.
I lost my streak with that one.
Yeah. Okay. Next one. I guess that's what is that? Object minus 0 is type error. Is this true or is this false?
I want to know if there ever will be a type error.
This is false. Object minus 0 is in fact -0.
There are definitely ways to get a type error. I just don't know what they are.
I'm glad we're just going to pass over the fact that JavaScript has -0. Okay. Breaking all laws of math.
That's not breaking all laws of math. That's a very controversial math question.
Okay. Well, I don't have time to get into that. Okay.
Next episode.
Next question. Nan triple compare nan is true.
I know this one. It's annoyed me many times.
Is not a number, not a number.
It's actually very sensible why this is the case.
Ricardo, it's JavaScript. Makes sense not to make sense.
Correct.
This is false. Most people got this. Nan triple equal nan is like, I love this one. Who needs math when you've got JavaScript? Like, that's a good question right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So that is true. I wish I could explain some of these more. I think these last few I understand. Why is this one the way it is, Matt? Do you know?
Nan isn't actually an object, and so when you type nan like that, you instantiate an object, and object equality in JavaScript is done by like memory location. So those are two different objects.
Okay, that makes sense. I accept that as the answer. That makes sense in my mind.
Which
Next
is why
question.
the isNan global exists.
Number.min value is greater than 0. You won't. I don't think you'll be able to join because we're already like in the middle of the game, but you might be able to. So, number.min value is greater than 0.
I'm just over here slowly typing in
You just type all these in and answering.
Yeah,
This
but I mean,
is-
after I'm done, I'm so slow it doesn't even matter.
This is true. I believe, if I was told correctly, number.min value returns positive infinity, which is in fact greater than 0. Or does it return negative infinity? Either way. Oh no, no, it returns negative infinity, but I think it's not comparable.
Yeah, it returns 5 times 10 to the negative 324. So it is a negative number, but when you then do greater than 0, JavaScript explodes and it's true.
So I'm doing good because people think it's like we're getting low answers here. So moving up and no one moved up. The scoreboard stayed the same.
Red's crushing over there.
I think JavaScript could do that level of decimal precision, to be honest.
Second to last question. True or false? True plus true is 2.
Did this annoy you, Mason, because we use true with lowercase t's?
No, because I started in Java.
Oh, okay.
So lowercase trues doesn't bother me. I actually honestly accidentally put lowercase trues in Python more often than not. This is true. I'm guessing it's because 0 or 1, 1 plus 1 is 2. This one seems acceptable. I accept
true
this.
becomes 1. Yeah.
Yeah. Last question before we move on. Oh, someone hit an answer streak of 3, and we're seeing a little bit of the leaderboard shake up, but not much. Math.min less than math.max is true. Is math.min less than math.max?
Huh?
I mean, it makes sense, right? Wouldn't it be?
I'm just trying to figure out what they return.
Math.min returns infinity.
Does it?
This is false. Hey, we actually have 12 people in the game, so maybe we do can accept more than 10. Awesome. I'm glad more people can join.
My gosh, I'm tweeting this.
They're tweeting the math.min one.
Math.min returns infinity. Math.max returns negative infinity.
Yep.
Classic.
I was expecting them both to return undefined, and therefore undefined is not less than undefined, but
okay.
Wait,
well, that was
that's... undefined is less than undefined less than undefined is false.
Yeah.
Okay,
which is what I assumed. Yeah.
Rickert with 6 out of 10. Fred Kiss with 6. Someone came up and took it away. Was it Chris?
I think it might be Matt.
I think it might be me. Yeah.
Matt. Oh my gosh, Matt! Congratulations. You have been victimized by JavaScript the most.
Yeah.
You spend your days programming a potato and wondering why it shoots out frogs. So
honestly, this is why I actually dislike TypeScript. This is why TypeScript is great. Because you don't ever have to deal with this kind of thing.
Or you get yelled at enough.
Yeah.
It does kind of hurt, doesn't it?
It's the beauty of JavaScript though. That's to me, that is the language.
Oh yeah.
The beauty of JavaScript is that you can do dumb coercions like that.
Yeah.
I've never been a big fan of the articles that say always use triple equals. Let me do whatever I want to do if I know what it does.
Well, so I have ESLint always set to warn for double equals, but there are situations where it's needed. Like, I want to purposely check that. So yeah. But if you want to be safe, triple equals is the way to go.
Great. Well, that ends our section of true or false for today. And now with that sound, it means it's time for our lightning tutorial, which I will be presenting today based off of a tech talk that I did yesterday. So if you want to watch the entire tech talk that I did, where I built a one-time secret app using FastAPI, I'm sure that it will show up in the link below somewhere because our backstage person will get it. But today we're going to talk about FastAPI. So FastAPI is a Python web framework that claims and has the benchmarks to prove that it has very high performance, on par with Node.js and Go. That is unbelievable for a Python API because Python has been, it's notorious, it has a reputation for being quote unquote slow. As an interpreted language with the global interpreter lock, it is slower than some languages. It's not slow enough to where people actually notice it. But if you're running a high performance web API, you could see performance issues. So today I'm going to just walk you through a really quick sample of FastAPI. So the reason that FastAPI is super fast and powerful is because it actually takes advantage of the typing system in Python. So in Python, I think 3.6, they introduced optional typing where you could basically say, hey, this variable that's going to come in is going to be of this type. C Python itself does nothing with it. So base Python ignores a lot of these types, but there are tools like Pydantic, which is what FastAPI is built on, that essentially uses this typing to basically squeeze a lot of performance out of this. So we basically do from FastAPI. You can hear my wonderful keyboard. FastAPI. And it looks very similar to, say, how you would do a Flask application. Mm-hmm. So for our hello world, we do app.get/. So the slightly different thing here is that we are seeing, instead of app.route, we actually use the HTTP verb here to specify specifically what it is. So other than that, this almost looks identical to a Flask app. So we have just return hello world. And if I pull up my thing, and first let's run it. We need to run it first. So you have to use a special, you have to use a different tool for this. So most like Django, Flask, and stuff, these were all built off of WSGIs, or the WebSocket Gateway Interface, the old way of running Python apps. FastAPI is built using on top of Starlet, which is an ASGI app. Oh, did I do that backwards? Attribute app not found in model main. Oh, I didn't save the file. One must save the file before they can run the file. So yeah, that's how my day's going. So if we go to localhost 8000, we get a hello world, nice and fair, nice and fun, pretty cool. Now, where I really started to enjoy this, let's go back to this, is with something like, what am I thinking? Like Flask, you have to use like a JSONify method. With FastAPI, if you just return a dictionary in Python, you automatically get JSON, and it's application JSON, and it's fine. So it takes that little bit of these.
That's nice.
That's nice. It's nice. It's what I would expect. Like Python is really big on can someone discover what's going on, and like just by programming, type something and figure out discoverability of a language without needing documentation. So in my mind, that makes really
that's like the level of magic that I'm okay with.
Yes. So let's write one more method, app.get/items/item ID. And then def, we're going to call it just read item. And then what we do is we say item ID, and this is where we get to use our typing. So item ID is set to an integer. So this is what typing looks like in Python, where you set a colon and then you specify, hey, I expect this to come in. And then let's do q : optional, make it a string, and this is equal to none.
Mm-hmm.
And then what we do here in the return is we're going to return item ID.
Typing a terminal.
I know. We'll just return back whatever is sent back, and then the query we'll send back the query parameter as well, just for funsies. So with this read item, what this allows us to do, and it's a little bit small, so I'll go with that and get rid of that because I don't want that there. This allows us to item ID will come in as a parameter input, and then this q, and because we made it optional and we don't have it specified anywhere, and this is a get method, this is automatically interpreted as a query parameter. So if I come up here and I go to items/3, I'll get q equals none. But if I do item/3 ? Q equals hello, I automatically get it in. I don't have to deal with the request body. Also, it's a little bit small, so we'll zoom in. I don't have to deal with a request body at all. If you've ever worked with Python, with Flask or Django, you're typically used to using like request bodies and having to pull all the data out of it. You don't have to do that with this, which is really nice. And then let's do one more.
The other thing I noticed as well is that not only is it like using the type hints, it's casting as well.
Yes, it's using the type hints, it's casting, it's doing the conversions. So I actually am getting an integer back here. So all the it's taking away all of the excess code that I need. Like I've written quite a few Python apps. I spend a lot of time parsing request data, casting, verifying data integrity. The framework just does this for me.
Out of curiosity, what happens if you pass a string as an ID?
How would I pass a string inside? Oh,
just nice.
Value is not a valid integer. 422.
Cool. So it's dealing with validation and everything.
Yeah. It's really neat. So the last thing we're going to do real quick is I need to import one more thing, which is from Pydantic. Import base model. Yeah, that's what it's called. We're going to create a little class real quick. We're going to call it book. Base model. Book has a title, which is a string. I don't have to do comments here. We'll say page count is equal to it's an integer, and then if I want to put in a price, we'll say this is optional. It's a float. But if they don't send in a price, it's going to be none. So if we say def, we'll say put book. We'll do a post here. So @app.post/book. We'll say put book, and then what we can do here is we can say book : book.
Mm-hmm.
And let me see my actual. I need to find what do I want to do here? So then I can just return.
Just return the book.
Yeah, I could just return the book, but so we'll do book. We'll do title : book.title. and we'll do page count. I guess we'll do price because it's optional. We'll do all of them because I'm not going to be lazy. Sometimes I'm just lazy. Book.page count, comma, price. Come on. Book.price. So if we do that, hopefully I typed that all in right. I kind of pulled that one off the top of my head. And we come over here. Now we have to do a post. So we actually need to use this. So HTTP post localhost 8000. And we're going to say this, the endpoint was called book space title equals, I don't know, Hunger Games. Page count equals 200. So now it does all of that same magic where it validates, it serializes, it puts the data in, all of it based completely off of the class that you create. And then just does so if you've ever used Django REST framework, you have to automatically do like serializers and, it does all of that for you. And as you see, it's null here. But if I did end up putting a price equals, I don't know, 23.99, I'll get the price in and I can easily specify the optional stuff. I love it. This is so cool. And then the last thing to show, this is where it won my heart, is it automatically has docs. I've done 0 things and it automatically gives me working not only Swagger docs, but it also gives me working redoc as well, if I type it in right.
This is my favorite bit by far. Like, just documentation is so important, and the fact that it just does it for you.
Yeah, and they work. Like I literally demoed the docs thing yesterday, and I can totally like get item, try it out, 3. Hi, Chris. And there's the result right there. And it works. Yeah. So FastAPI is amazing. This automatically working Swagger docs thing, I swear, I saw this yesterday and I got super excited because I'm such a big docs proponent. I've done more docs talks than I've done tech talks at conferences. So yeah, this is FastAPI, everyone. And I hope you enjoyed our lightning tutorial today.
Super fast.
Super fast, yeah.
Yeah, I was looking to like the benchmarks behind that. But it looks really cool.
It's got some page that I was unable to like understand. So it talks about like what does it, and then you click on this and it has like this tech empower. I didn't have time to actually like go through and like read how all of this works. And I didn't even see it up here.
You're not sharing your screen anymore.
Okay, well then never mind. It doesn't matter either way. Either way, dead screen. Didn't really tell me how to do anything.
Yeah.
But yeah, pretty
Donald
cool.
had a really interesting question actually that I was actually quite curious about as well. What happens if you pass something in form data, like a file? How does FastAPI just handle that?
Ooh, how does FastAPI handle forms? That's a great question. So FastAPI. So another thing that makes me love them is their documentation is great. Like they have literally the best documentation. So this is literally right here, bytes. I don't know. So FastAPI file form upload file.
So and it just gives you the bytes.
Yeah, it just gives you the bytes.
Nice.
So
cool. There's the answer.
Yes, this documentation site is using a tool called MakeDocs, MKDocs. This is a tool that one of my very first conference talks that I ever did was about this technology. It has, in opinion, by far the best search. So if you just Google FastAPI and you want to learn anything, you will find like their search actually works. I love it. It's great. So yeah, that is FastAPI. And now we're going to do another segment called Wheels of Misfortune. I guess I'm going to share my screen for this one too. Wheels of Misfortune is a fun segment that we do where my co-host and I design a app within a certain time limit, and it basically tells us what type of app, what kind of scale, and then there's the Wheel of Misfortune that tells us what kind of problem we are going to face going forward. So, are we ready? How much time do we want to do today, guys?
What did we say last time?
We did 3 minutes and we kept extending it. I think we could easily do it to like maybe 5 minutes. Five to 7 minutes. What do y'all think?
Let's do 5 and see if we can plan something out in 5 minutes.
Okay, so online stopwatch, but we don't use that one. We go to the OG online stopwatch because I used to use this one like as a kid, and I don't know why, but I have some weird affinity towards it. So let's go ahead and spin the first wheel.
Category.
We are building a data storage platform that has to support 1 to 1,000 users. Okay, that's not awful. And our misfortune wheel is
open source license restrictions.
Run it again.
Run it again. Okay.
I think we did it last week. So
we did it last week. That's boring. We have no backend devs.
With data storage.
With data storage. Biggest oof. Okay. Set. Are we ready?
Good.
Here we go.
Okay. So no backend devs. We're doing this client side, okay?
Well, yeah. jQuery in data element attributes.
Yeah. Well, no, you fully could do this in client side, right? Like the thing that comes to mind, for example, is Nginx config, one of our tools I've been working on in the morning. We store the entire configuration in query parameters. So you could do that with this.
I guess it depends on
a file.
What kind of data storage? Are we talking like photos or?
Oh, anything. You can basics for anything.
I
feel that's kind of a cheaty answer, but
what about our earlier news item, SQLite in GitHub Pages?
Yeah, you can write some automation.
That is technically front end. However, that's not private data storage though. How would we make that private? Because I imagine that if people are uploading their files, they don't just want to upload it to the open internet.
Well, so you can, if we're going to GitHub Pages specifically, you can have a private repo and still have a public GitHub Pages. So you could like have a public page where you upload your files and it goes to a really random URL that no one can guess.
Security through obscurity.
Yep. Yeah, because that always works.
Well, we're really pinned in here without a backend dev.
We are really pinned in. We could just kind of pit. Well, so it's 100 to 1,000 users. How much data? Like, could we do something like? Well, what is the data? What type of data are we storing? Are we storing like structured data? Are we storing people's pictures of their cats?
I was gonna go with plain text because that makes it a bit easier.
A ton easier.
Well, if we're doing like cat pics, we could always just use like the Google Drive API and basically just upload, like basically we could just resell Google Drive, or reuse Google Drive, use an API, and then we would have to create buckets for users and stuff, and then do it like that. That's an option.
Yeah, I think a front end dev can figure out that.
Yeah, I always wonder when we do this segment, how many external APIs can we talk about or use? Because then it's like,
I think as many as we want.
Yeah,
like we have to do it. So like,
S3.
Brian said S3.
Those kind of APIs could also automate those.
Cloudinary for like images.
I think we got a little bit lucky here because we only had to store like 100 to 1,000. So we could piggyback off some free services or small services. Had we had to do this for large scale customers, we probably would have needed a data store at that point, like an actual cluster.
Yes.
But I guess we could just use it.
I like this because it's like we are so stubborn that we don't want a backend dev, that we are just going to power through and make whatever we need to make.
I'm sure you and I could figure this out, you know.
Y'all go ahead. I'm the backend dev here. So like, I don't know what tricks y'all have up your sleeve.
I'm sure between the two of us, we could figure out writing a really bad little Express server to talk to some S3 APIs.
Yeah.
Or you could do it client side and just hope that no one yanks your credentials.
This obscurity isn't working. We've got a minute and a half left. Anything else? What weird things can we deal with? So what do we have? We had 100 users, 100 to 1,000
users.
This wasn't that bad of a misfortune this time.
No, it wasn't terrible. What kind of rate limiting would we have to do though? Because I imagine if all 1,000 users did it at the same time, we would potentially get rate limited by the third party that we're using.
Yeah,
1,000 not that many.
Depends on how much they're downloading. If all 1,000 people decide to download immediately, Oh, Brian asks, how are we authing?
I don't need auth, free service.
Yeah. Everyone's files is everyone's files.
Yeah, well, I mean, like that is one approach, right? Like, there's no requirement here that it's private or secure. I mean, it could just be like a code pen or a paste bin kind of situation where it's just put it up into the wild.
Looking at Giphy too, everything's kind of just out there. Or, yeah, Giphy.
Yeah.
All right, we did it.
We did it. Okay, that was the best one yet.
We've done so far. Yep.
Yeah, and I'm going to stop it because this is going to scream in my ear otherwise.
So what I just got is what B-Rob is saying, all-powerful front-end dev. I think Chris Collier did a talk on that, but it looks like we don't need you, Mason.
Yeah.
Yeah, you do. You do. You do. Because you were sneaking into some back-end stuff like, I don't know, you were doing some full stack things. I think we did take a little bit of liberty with APIs and stuff, but I think it could be done. Y'all are pretty good. Y'all can definitely do it.
Well, yeah, I think you just got to use a stack that a front end dev could figure out.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and I mean, we did really good by just piggybacking off everybody else's stuff. Like, had you needed to build your own, then I feel like we would have needed a back-end dev for that. But it shows that if you're creative enough, you can do almost anything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, especially if someone's done most of the work for you.
Yeah. Just depends on like if you're using that Google Drive, like depends on how much data they're uploading because they only get so many gigabytes for free and then you got to pay for it.
True. I mean, pay for the business plan with Google Workspace, which is like $15 a month, and you get unlimited storage. Then I think, or has that changed now?
I think they changed some of it. I think they changed the unlimited, but it's still like $10 a month for like a terabyte. I think.
Yeah. So you can get quite a long way.
You can definitely. Nobody do this, please.
Not that I endorse it because I don't know what their terms of service say anymore.
Disclaimer: this was done as a theoretical concept and should not be done as a business idea outside of the context of this chat. We were not trying to tell everyone that they should go make a backend storage service.
Just use an S3 service or a DioSpace. Just use a bucket of some sort instead. Far easier.
It will make your life a lot easier. Probably be a lot more secure. So as long as you close your bucket and don't leave it open to the world. Okay, so we have our final segment today, which is what's on your mind. In our final segment, we just go around and talk about what's on your mind, what we're dealing with. It can be tech related. It doesn't have to be tech related. It can be whatever we want to talk about. And we're going to go ahead and start off with Matt.
Start it off every week. It's become a trend.
Yeah, you know what? Guess what? Guess what you get? You get to be started off as.
It's a trend because no one's edited the script that says we're starting off with Matt, but
you have the power, Matt.
Yeah. I might also move it back if you do it. So
yeah. I wrote down this week uni pressure. I don't know. I'm really on the fence about this. Like, as a person, I don't stress about anything. It's a very firm belief that I have. There's no point stressing about things. Whatever you're going to do, you're going to do. You've done the prep you can do. It's gonna, it happens, right? There's no point stressing about something you can't change any further. But that being said, my recent uni work has just been, I don't know, it feels like it's all of a sudden just all the work has appeared. And I feel like there's a load of pressure. I don't know, it doesn't feel right. I mean, I say this from a really weird perspective, right? Of like, I happen to also have a job. So I'm entirely putting myself in a corner here by having a job at the same time. But I don't know. It's just been on my mind. The amount of work I have at uni currently seems a bit ridiculous. And it's all pointless work. I agree.
I guess two questions. How much longer do you have?
6 months-ish. End of December.
Okay, and then of your, I guess, cohort? How many of them have jobs or have I don't know, are juggling the two?
I think there are a few others that are kind of juggling other jobs, none within tech. I'm the only person in this CS degree that has a job in tech. I don't know, I could say some really, really spicy things about my cohort, but I don't want to.
I was there. Yeah. you're gonna look back. So I remember whenever I was in university, and I didn't have a tech job. I taught and I developed for the university locally. Like I was teaching classes, I was taking courses, and then I was also writing the CS website. I helped build a lot of that while I was there. It was a lot, and I remember feeling like overwhelmed with it. And then I remember whenever I graduated and all of that went away, how empty it felt. And like how weird it felt to have free time. Like I didn't know what free time was. And then I suddenly had hours of it every day. So it's gonna freak you out. So be prepared. Like I honestly was more stressed out because I felt like I felt like there was stuff that I needed to be doing, but I wasn't. But I didn't actually have anything to be doing. But I was so used to being like amped all the time.
Yeah, so that's the bit that gets me right. It's just, no matter what I'm doing, no matter what time of the day, there is a bit of my brain that goes, oh, you've got 4 uni assignments that are still due that you haven't quite finished yet.
Yep. That will eventually go away. I think you're right there. I mean, I know you'll probably finish it because like you don't go run a marathon and stop 20 feet before the end.
No. Especially not when it costs you an arm and a leg. Exactly.
Yeah, definitely. So hold out, Matt. Let us know if we can help you in any way. We believe in you.
Oh yeah, I'll be fine. I don't know. I feel like there's definitely a wider conversation about like university and mental health in general, and like especially with COVID and everything. I'm not really the person to talk about that, but there is definitely a wider conversation to be had there because it's an issue.
Yeah.
Well, hey, Matt. 6 months. That's 24 Cloud Chats episodes left. So we'll just make it a countdown now.
We can definitely do that. How many episodes till Matt's out of college? I can't wait till we get to do the graduation episode. Will Matt show his face on the graduation episode? Woo.
I don't know. Am I even going to get to graduation? Is the bigger question. Because
you will get to graduation. Okay, by the time you get to the end of university, they don't fail people out at the very end.
I'll graduate, right? I mean, like physically have a graduation because the year that you just graduated didn't have one.
Oh, hopefully. I mean, maybe things are looking better. My brother didn't get a graduation from UT. He graduated last spring. And didn't have one, like height of the pandemic, and didn't get one.
No, I don't mind. I'd rather not have to go back ever again. I like this whole being remote thing.
True, but you did pay a lot of money for it. So, I kind of feel like you paid for it. You should get it. Okay, Chris, what's on your mind?
We kind of talked about it earlier, but today is my first day back. I have been away for 1 week, and I'm over here debating if I can just. There's a lot of like Slack messages and emails. Like, how much would a person miss if they were gone for a week and they just clicked, mark all as read? Or
I can tell you for a fact that there are things that you will have missed.
But the thing is, are they things? I mean, they're things that he would care about, but are they things that one wouldn't come back around? And if they don't come back around, are they important?
Yes. I don't know. I feel like in part, like, I've always been a firm believer. If someone really wants my attention, they'll message me a second time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder if there's a little Slack bot we can do that measures importance of message.
That will go well.
Mine will just be like, everything is important. Read everything.
I feel like, I don't know, Chris, do you want to talk about where you've been for the last week?
Yeah, I feel like we haven't talked about that at all. So
we did last week. We kept it a surprise.
Yeah, we didn't talk about it last week. So
I guess that's been on my mind. So I just got married on Saturday, May 1.
Woo!
Yeah, check it out. Yeah. But we did a backyard wedding, and it turned out amazing. I will say though, planning a wedding is very much like planning a conference. You got your vows, which I think is the keynote speech. You got your best man speech. You got your like groomsmen, bridesmaids. I'd call that, your speakers. You've got the guests. You got to funnel them into a correct bathroom. Otherwise they like roam free.
I like this. It's a good analogy.
Yeah. You got to have a donut wall in the hallway. You got to make sure that your guests the hallway track is rolling.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, coffee.
I think we're fully prepared to run a conference now after the wedding.
Code of conduct infractions in case someone gets into the punch a little bit too early. Like, oh my goodness. That does sound interesting. Yeah, and also, by the way, saw the pictures on your Twitter. Loving the green suit. Like,
thank you. Yeah.
What?
So
like, just what? Like, were you bored? Like, was there? Like, I'm curious. I've never seen that before. I was like, I didn't know that existed. It looks amazing. So.
Oh yeah. So I guess I can try to pull up a pictures for everyone in chat to see real quick.
All right, let me drop your Twitter link for some nice promo.
We should all drop our Twitter links.
Well, they're not sure. It doesn't show our little things anymore, like underneath our face.
So this is my Twitter. I already did the tweet for MathMinMathMax.
Nice.
I want a little bit of cred for that. I brought that to your attention.
Efficient tweeting.
So yeah, this is the green suit.
It's amazing, by the way.
Yeah, it turned out great. And but our theme for we just built a house last year. Our theme for everything has been black and plant, and like plant green.
Okay.
Black wood plant. So we kept it for the wedding, and the green turned out pretty sweet. And then the inside of the jacket is all of the photos from us building the house together and all that good stuff.
That's fantastic.
This is really cool.
Yeah, building this is like, I don't know, fun process to get a suit made for you.
That does sound pretty nice.
Yeah. Because not only like just a tailored suit though, but a custom suit with photos on the inside.
Yeah. And then our kind of tagline has always been like goobers goobin. So yeah. Just running around goobins.
Oh my god. That's amazing, Chris.
But it's good to be back.
It's good to have you back. We definitely missed you. It was definitely we had a good time with Lynn last week, though. Lynn did a great job. We're definitely going to be bringing her on more. I guess we can kind of let the little tiny secret out that there will be a fourth co-host joining us soon. Can't really. I'm not going to say much more about that. Yeah, soon. Could be as early as next week. We'll see how they're feeling.
Not promised, though. So it's
not
very much
promised. Soon, yes. But we should have a fourth person joining us as a permanent co-host, and that will be exciting. Gonna go ahead and switch over to the chat real quick. Daniel Hicks says he's going to GovTech online, and they just ship us our degrees. I'm actually also just re-enrolled in that program because I used to do it. I think I'm going to probably go back to grad school. That's kind of like what's on my mind right now. So interesting that the chat's also going to school with me. And someone says they love the Hacktoberfest t-shirt. Yes, yeah. Well, seeing is how we make them. I have like
nice t-shirt.
Nice t-shirt. By the way, if you didn't know, Matt's the one who does all the like most of the Hacktoberfest work. He's right here. I can't. One day I'm gonna learn how to point to y'all on screen. I swear.
Yeah. Hacktoberfest is fun. Wrong side.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I know, but I'm over here because it's mirrored, Chris.
I watched Mason get it wrong, and then Chris went and tried to do it. It looked really cool trying to do it.
Yeah, because Chris is cooler than me. We know this, okay?
No,
we
don't have. He tried.
No, I messed up. I had 50-50 chance. Got it wrong.
Okay. Anyway, mirrored images. I've got to get over that. Anyway, yes. So yeah, there's two things on my mind. One, I'm probably gonna go back to grad school because apparently I hate my life. But also because I keep getting reached out by my alma mater to be an adjunct because they need people to teach classes, and you can't do that unless you have a master's in the States, which sucks. Which that's its own level of poop that I don't want to go into because I think it's dumb, because I don't think my ability to sit through a class and listen to someone who's 30 years out of date talk about something that isn't relevant anymore in any way affects my teaching ability. Yeah, that was a little bit spicy. Sorry.
That was good. I like that one.
I feel like Matt also is feeling that to some degree. So yeah, there's that. And then the other thing I want to share today is another random game we're going to play. Matt and I discussed if we were going to do it. There's not enough to do it all the time, but we found this really cool thing, and it's called Pokemon or Big Data. Is the word that's on the screen a Pokemon, or is it big data? because the names for all of the big data frameworks are just, tech is really bad at naming things. They're kind of bonkers.
Yep.
So I guess let's just run through a couple of these. There's
Let's
like
run through
20.
these.
There's like 27.
I think, yeah, we did the maths. It was like 27. And
It's like 27.
Yeah.
So
really cool.
I also know all of these because I'm a huge Pokemon nerd. But I want to see if my co-host knows.
So
these.
I've never been into Pokemon, so this is far more of a challenge for me.
Chris, what about you?
I stopped after 150.
Oh, well then there's like, I don't think there's even some of the original 150s in here. So is Azurill a Pokemon or a big data?
Pokemon.
Pokemon, yeah.
Azurill is the baby form of Meryl. He's so cute. Seahorse, is this a Pokemon or a big data?
Big data.
That sounds very big data-y.
Yeah, it says very big data. It doesn't have like a specific name. Delibird.
Ooh. Kind of hungry now.
Me too. I'm hungry.
Big data. Yeah.
It's a Pokemon, but Delibird is from Gen 2, and it's the gift Pokemon. It's always used in the Pokemon Go Christmas event. Vulpix, Pokemon or big data?
Pokemon.
That's Pokemon.
That's a Pokemon. That's one of the original 150, yes. Flink, big data or Pokemon?
I don't know, a bit makes me Pokemon, but I've no idea if it's Pokemon or not. But it feels too weird to big data.
Yeah, I lean Pokemon.
It's big data. It is actually Apache Flink, and it's for batch commands and stream processing. I actually worked a little bit with Flink at my last job. Summingbird.
Big data.
Big data.
Yeah.
It's a Twitter technology for streaming, MapReduce, and scaling. Horsey.
Big data. I've no idea. Big data.
That's a Pokemon.
Right.
Wait, that's one of the original.
It's one of the original,
Is
Chris.
it?
I'm upset with you. Yeah. That's one of the original 151. I think that's like
See, what I was saying, what we're establishing here, right, is just that big data is really bad at naming stuff.
Yes, exactly. Azkaban, big data or Pokemon?
Isn't that Harry Potter's thing?
It is Harry Potter, so it's not a Pokemon. It's big data. They just named it after Azkaban. I wonder how dark of a big data your thing has to be to name it after a literal torture prison.
What is it? Cron?
Yeah, as a workflow
all
scheduler.
Yeah. Hackathon.
I thought I looked off screen and I thought you said hackathon.
That too. Hackathon. Like
big data.
Big data. It's a lock-free architecture for SQL Server 2014. Impala. It's a car.
Big data.
Also big cat. Yeah. Or no.
Yeah, right?
Gazelle.
Yeah. Looks like it's a querying solution built in C++. Titan.
Big
You
data.
try to lead us? Yeah, you
Big
try to lead
data.
us.
Okay.
We haven't seen a Pokemon in a minute though.
That's big. Arvados
That's-
is big data.
That's big data. Yep.
I'm gonna try to speed this up so we can get through it.
Yeah.
So what they're doing is they're doing them close to Pokemon names. That was supposed to be like Ariados. Pangool. Ah, dang it! I got this one the other time too. I thought that was the little bear. No, it looks like a Sandslash, but it's actually a pangolin. Atlassian is this big data or Pokemon?
Biggest data.
Biggest data.
How do they fall into the big data category?
I have no idea. Oh no, they actually have a big data tool. Spoink is a Pokemon. Gen 3. Jirachi's a legendary Pokemon. Adabas is big data for NoSQL. Tukatek is big data. Gorobus is a Pokemon.
Were you just really good at your Pokemon?
I'm really good at my Pokemon.
Are there?
There's I don't know. I stopped counting at like 979 or something. Hadoop is big data. Geode is big data, but Geodude is a Pokemon. Akaban.
898 as of.
Oh wow. Anyway, I broke something. Anyway, that's enough of that.
There you go. Long story short, big data is really bad at naming stuff, and that's a really fun little microsite.
Yes, it is pretty fun. Do we have any tech talks next week? We're going to move on to our closing because we're pretty much done today. So upcoming for next week. Do we have tech talks next week? Chris, do you have anything? I don't see anything. Just our Cloud Chats episode next week. We do want to tell y'all about two links. So we have two things that we're starting with the show. One of which is rate your site, where if you send us your site, we will rate it and just generally critique it, give you some tips and pointers and stuff. The front end people will, because I'm not that person.
When you say critique, it'll be friendly feedback.
Friendly feedback, no mean feedback.
We're not just going to rip sites apart. We want to have a look, make a judgment, and then give some feedback.
Constructive.
Yeah. And then the second one, Cloud Chat's queues.
Right on. X Aventura in chat.
Yes, and the second one that we are doing is our Ask Us Anything question. So we are going to do if you just have questions for us that you want to ask that you don't want to put in chat that you'd like to submit, the do.co/cloudchat-qs is there for that. CloudChat's rate is for your site.
Yep. Can't guarantee that we'll look at every site that's submitted. They will be pre-screened, obviously.
Yes, obviously.
And the same for questions. They will be pre-screened. We will try to pick ones that kind of feel somewhat on topic for Cloud Chats.
Definitely.
But submit anything you have, and we'll have a look at it.
That's all we have for upcoming. And now, as always, we close with my joke of the day.
This is honestly the best bit of the week, but also the worst bit at the same time.
I'm glad that you like. Also, y'all should have told me that I had never stopped playing the "What's on Your Mind" music.
Oh, I was just enjoying it.
I'm glad that y'all vibe so well to my music. So,
you've got good taste.
Yeah, awesome. Well, anyway, joke of the day. Are we ready?
Let's go.
Yeah.
Where do computers go to dance?
One of these days we'll get it. Where do they go?
The disco.
Oh, the sound effect really sold that one.
Did Samantha get it? Did you get it? I think our back end person jumped, so I think that our back end person got it. So, awesome. Well, thank you everyone. We had a great day today. It's good chatting with y'all, and we'll see you next week, same time, same place for another episode of Cloud Chats.
See you then.
See ya.